Hey everybody, Josh the RV Nerd with Bish's RV, hanging out here in Salt Lake again with another ORV, the 23 DBS. This is a small, little more compact couples model. This is a lot of the ORVs, one of their greatest assets are their greatest liabilities. They're built thicker, stronger, heavier. But again, heavier weight means it limits more tow vehicles. This is one of the very few that I think maybe due to the size potentially weights you have some half-ton potential here, but that's always going to depend on the vehicle in question. So this is a very common floor plan. You know, you see this from like Jayco and Freedom Express and North Trail and a bunch of others. But they are not built like this. And I love those other brands, but they are not built like this. This is a true 2-inch thick sidewall, enclosed, insulated, forced air heated belly with tank heaters. ORV is really well respected for having some of the very best weather packages out there. The thing is, too, these are perfectly functional in the parks. Nothing says that's the only place you have to use them. They have Goodyear tires. They have more ride shock dampening little shackles, and then they have actual shocks on that suspension system. Even though it's a leaf spring, it is a very well-treated leaf spring, and it's something where if you want to get off the highways and byways and you want to get off on some dirt paths, well, this one might work for you here. By default, it has no solar, but you can get it outfitted from the factory with 1, 2, or 3 170-watt solar panels on the roof, and it still maintains prep on the side for an additional 200. So if you're doing the math, it's about 11 billion potential solar watts on there. I'm actually quite fatigued after yesterday. My brain's not doing the math very well, although that should be up to 740 watts now that I think about it. Notice they don't use the stable steps, because if you do want to get away from the parks, sometimes the stable steps don't marry up very nicely to the ground. It's a true queen bed that is down with the thickness, as I like to say. But it's got a couple hiccups and hangups too. I'm going to try to share you the good with the bad as we go. And if you appreciate that, hit that subscribe button. Let's get started. Now, something I like to do here, I call it putting you in the driver's seat, even though you're done driving because you're at your campsite. If you're sitting in the seating, this is what you might see right here. And it's not the world's greatest entertainment center. And regular viewer, Mr. Steve Z, is going to comment, oh look, another bunkhouse model with nothing but an uncomfortable dinette to sit at on a rainy day. And I'm not saying that to like try to call him out or make him stop or anything. I appreciate when folks share their opinions like that. Steve has a valid point. This is not a model intended to house your whole family like on a rainy day all of the time. This is something made to feed, sleep, and bathe your family, and that is it. That's all this one really does. They do this a little bit differently, though. Like, you look at it, and I don't know if you could really discern this off just this camera footage. But that's a massive dinette. It is the size of a U-dinette from most manufacturers, but they don't actually put in a rear bench. And what that allows for is 4 real, live, American-sized adults can sit at this thing and not have to play the knee knocker game and actually have room for all their plates and cups and everything else. They call it their mountain dinette. It's something that they've gone to and they use quite a bit. I forgot the TV was pivoted out. I just ran into it. So if my camera work is a little crappier than normal, there you go. And yeah, they're still doing floor heating vents because this is a brand that is big into hot, cold climate camping. They're still doing carpet in the floor. Some people like carpet in the floor. They like, being able to take their shoes off and not get cold piggies, as it were. That's kind of how Northwood do, basically. And those might be factors that you don't like. I would definitely recommend not buying this camper. But if what you're looking for, like, hold on, where did it go? This is something that I think almost at a glance looks like a defect. There it is. But look at this. You see that knot in the wood? Another one down here. That's not just like a panel with a sticker wrap. They are using like real wood cabinet doors. Now, the styles do have a sticker wrap on them. So like the box of the cabinet is still lumber core is the technical name for it, where it is screws into wood, but there is a like a wrap, I don't know, veneer or whatever appropriate word goes into that. So kind of keep that in mind. But the thing is, though, the structure of this RV is not like the industry standard build, even though this is a very industry standard floor plan. Like, if you prefer carpetless, you prefer a U-dinette, look at a Freedom Express 257, look at a J-Flight 242. You're going to like what you see there, I think. They're going to get the job done a little bit differently. You only have the choice, well, I guess you don't have a choice. It's an 8 cubic foot two-way refrigerator. That's all they use on these Northwoods. Nope, sorry, ORV. Outdoors RV that we're looking at is the sister company to Northwood, and I kind of obviously lump them together in my head because they are so similar. They are built, baby. I love this little rainy day sanity station because, again, as Mr. Steve Z says, if you are stuck inside on a rainy day, you need a place to put everybody. Having, like, if my daughter had her own little play loft up here where she could hang out and watch her stuff on her phone, you know, ideally on a rainy day, we'll go watch a movie, we'll go shopping, we'll go do an aquarium, we'll go do a thing, you know. But sometimes you do spend some time around the house. Notice how you have separate curtains for the upper and lower bunks, and I'm sure you discerned that is a folding mattress because this one has a cargo bunk function. And I kind of thought like ABBA that I would take a chance, and just kind of leave that down and give you a look at that thing right there. I'm almost surprised they don't have a stovetop side splash. That is something their sisters Northwood does. And with so many of the other nice feature function, they paid attention kind of stuff that you find on these ORVs, I kind of half expected to find that on a floor plan like this, but obviously you do not. Now, all that being said, the bathroom back here, pretty good. And I have not closed the slides on this one, well, the slide, singular, yet, but I believe this will have excellent road mode access. The space around the toilet looks pretty good. I did find, though, when I tried to put my right hand behind me to simulate doing some business back there, it was a little bit tight on the right. I could probably deal with it. Obviously, I wasn't really leaning off to the side, but, just kind of, I don't want to get too graphic about this. You can see a reflection of the Drunken Octopus Fight Club holding our wet towels over there. And up top, this is one of the things I love about this company. They only use the big fans. And here's another really cool thing, and I'll actually show you this up on the roof. They only add, they all have roof vent covers built onto them right from the factory. So you can even use that on a rainy day, which is awesome. And you see you've got that retractable, shower slider curtain door thing right there. And this is interesting. They are still doing a tub. A lot of brands have gone away from that and gone to just a shower. I don't know. I'm sort of on the fence. I haven't seen a tub in a while. I think I still kind of prefer a shower. My daughter, we never camped when she still needed to take a tub bath. But even when I was younger and I was in the tub bath phase of my life, we never had a tub in my camper. My parents would just hose me down real quick, basically, and I'd be good to go. I was just happy as a pig in whatever dirt I picked up at the campsite. Anyway, let's take a look at some more details here. That mountain dinette folds down into an adult-sized sleeper. I'm more than 6 foot long, and I can fit on that. And the storage is fantastic. You have drawers, and the actual seating that you're sitting on is CNC routed punch-outs from like where your windows are in your slides and stuff like that. So you're basically anywhere in their lamination where you would find a cut effectively is all CNC machine routed. So it's precise within 1/1000th of an inch. You can see how they're using it. It was a big oven. It was hard to get the entire oven actually in frame on this one. So that is a very nice handy feature right there. I love the shoe garage by the door. Again, the TV can pivot around, and you may have noticed how you do have pocket sliding privacy doors up here for the bedroom. Now, it is an island entertainment center, and that does allow the RV to be shorter, lighter, and less money. It means that you have not the most ideal entertainment center, though. It is what it is. And again, if that's not the right one for you, we've got other stuff. We've got plenty of other stuff. In here, this is what I was saying, a mattress that's down with the thickness. That is a residential grade True Queen pillow top. Everybody's preferences when it comes to sleeping accommodations are a little bit different. I don't think I would bother swapping that out. I don't even know if I'd need to put a foam topper on it. I think that would work. It would definitely be better than the hotel bed that I had last night, but neither here nor there. Normally, the Hiltons that I visit are pretty awful nice, and this one I just got the mattress that everybody else had already used to death. Anyway, once again, you see the big vent fans. TV hookup location in the bedroom on this one, not ideal. But it's there. It's better than nothing, I guess. I don't know. It just kind of is the way that it is. Oops, I'm on the wrong side of the RV. My footage is not going to line up for you. But basically, I want to show you what they're doing with the bed storage on this, starting on the other side of the camper. They do dresser drawers underneath, which is a little bit different. And if you lift the bed up, it almost has its own mini dresser built into there where you don't have to go armpit deep climbing into everything. The other thing there is you've got the dual closets, and they do full cabinets above the bed. They don't do the like open shelf where you have to go get the wicker baskets and hope they don't fall down in transit. You know what I'm wondering? They do deeper slides on these. That's something I haven't talked about. They're I wonder when that slide closes if we're going to be able to walk through here. Of course, I could quit wondering. I could actually just do it. Duh. Well, crap on a spatula. That is potentially a problem for some folks. Now, if when you're going down the road, one thing I do recommend is put the tabletop down in the sleeper position. It's less likely to wiggle jiggle loose. If you do that, you can very gingerly and carefully do the Luke knee walker and kind of climb yourself through. But if it's like a bathroom potty emergency and like the kid's like, I gotta go to the bathroom, well, you can always do the Dukes of Hazzard yeehaw to get over this thing. Or as I like to call it, the butt scoot boogie. Put your backside up, sit on it, spin on it, hop down. It occurs to me that's not the usual intention of the phrase sit on it and spin. But if you do that, and however you want to phrase it, if you had to, you could maybe, small kids, pick them up, help them over, get them back here. They could get to the bunks, to the bathroom, the whatever. But I don't know that I give this one credit for road mode as a result. But in a lot of my videos, you'll hear me say something like, yeah, but you can push the slide out a little bit and walk through it. Can you do that here? No, I don't recommend it. When you see that on the side of a slide out, that's called a Schwintek slide. One of the major problems with Schwintek slides is people are not educated on using them properly. You should not open this slide partially. You need to hold your finger on the open or close button until it goes all the way out, and then you'll actually hear it go, and then finally quit. That's when you want to take your finger off the button. Same thing when you're bringing it back in, because what it's doing is it is resyncing the motors and recalibrating itself. It's a self-adjusting slide system, but it can only do so much. If you partially open the slide in and out, one of the motors inevitably doesn't kick in quite as quick as the other. You do that enough times, things start getting out of whack, getting out of square, you could have a very serious problem that's really going to ruin your camping trip. So the more you know. All right, so when we began this video, I said something that might trigger the tow police, and that's not my intention. I mentioned that it could be potentially half-ton towable. There's a hitch weight factor and about just shy of 10,000 pound GVW, because even though this is a little shorter, they use all the same heavy-duty hardware on this, like the 5,100 pound axles that they use on all of their bigger models. They build everything the same, just some are bigger, some are smaller. So, if you have a very capable half-ton, maybe, a 3/4 all day long would be an excellent recommendation. Notice how they throw that big stone guard all over the nose cap on this thing. Just helps keep everything looking good long term. And if you actually get up here and feel it, you can feel it like how thick and aggressive that is. So, that doesn't chip off if a stone hits it. 60 pounds of propane up front, along with a long shank tongue jack, so that if you have a jacked up pickup, brother, you can still hitch up to this thing. You also got the little toy lock over here, so when Uncle Gary ties one on, you can tie him onto the camper. And with their custom-built off-road chassis, because they don't buy a chassis, they build their own in-house. Uncle Gary ain't gonna hurt this thing. Now, working our way around here, they have a true 2-inch thick sidewall. Their baggage doors are a full 1-inch thick, like insulated laminated door. And I like how they do the double clips on the slam latches, which just helps give it a better seal. Something that's cool here is not just the size of the pass-through. It's awesome how big it is, for sure. But if you look up under here, you will see how they actually do throw some block foam up here to help provide a temperature barrier between the inside and the outside, because that is, you think about it, directly below where you're sleeping. Now, this little handy little switch panel over here for like our power corner jacks, your battery disconnect, I love that when you're done with it, it just slides out of the way, and it's all protected from cargo. Now, up on the roof, you've got 3 prep plugs for solar, whereas over here on the side, you have a 200-watt portable panel. Prep anyway. Now, you can get it from the factory with all the panels, all 370-watt panels on the roof. You can do 0, you can do 1 or 2. And obviously, you can get that portable panel thing to do that job for you as well. Sometimes, though, people are going to look at this and say, well, if it's so fancy-dancy high-end, why aren't they using those stable steps everyone seems to think is so neat? And the answer is because if you really do want to get off grid and away from people, those stable steps are not always really friendly to, not a paved campsite. Down below here, 87 mile an hour rated, which is just one short of going back in time with Doc and Marty, if you remember. You also need a flux capacitor. That takes a little bit more than the solar package can handle, roughly about 1.21 gigawatts, as I recall, along with a MORryde CRE 3000 suspension, and if you notice, you could actually see those shocks on the suspension sticking up, along with some mud flaps in the back here. Now on the campsite of the RV over here, not a big deal. Over on the driver's side of the RV, that will help keep stones from flinging up and smacking into your sewer stuff, which is awful handy. Now, this is something I've only kind of recently sort of keyed into. I've been paying attention. When the furnace is mounted like this, with that little faceplate, that is intended to be, like, if you need furnace service, you can slide it right out of the side of the RV. You don't have to tear apart cabinets. You don't have to break stuff to get to it. It's just more readily accessible. I don't necessarily love the fact that the furnace exhaust is over here on the campsite, but if you're not super cold camping, not a big deal. Where I do think it is a potential point of concern is you do have the water heater exhaust over here on the campsite of the RV, which you'll see right about coming into frame on the right-hand side over there. The water heater you're going to be using probably whether it's cold or hot outside. It doesn't really matter. So having that exhaust over here on a bunk model is a point of concern that I think a lot of first-timers never really consider. But what's also awesome is how they do their cargo bunk a little differently. Because instead of doing that cargo door off the back of the RV where it fights with the spare tire and the ladder and everything else, they do it off the side, and the bunks flip up differently. Now, what you're seeing here is Mr. Cole. He's a member of our marketing team, and he's been kind of hanging out with me on this little trip between Idaho and Utah. You're 6'2"? Yes, he's 6'2" sitting in here. So as you see, you can put. I don't know that that's the most flattering angle that we ever had on you right there, Cole. I'll see if I can't digitize and put a censored sign on that. I'm going to back up now before we get a HR calling us. But you get the idea. Now, what's cool about that, like whether it's kids stuff or if you have like e-bikes or something you want to load up, there's really good spot for it right there, obviously. And the door is wider than most rear doors are on the backs of a lot of RVs that have cargo doors. Up top here, let's take a peek at the roof. And by default, you're not going to see much up here, but there's a couple key things I still wanted to point out. First of all, your big XL vent fans already have a roof vent cover built right in. They also vent the roof attic. Basically, the construction between the decking that I'm standing on and the interior ceiling panel so that it can breathe. And that does wonders toward helping the RV stay cool in the summer. If I'm being picky, I know it looks neat from the ground. I prefer a white shroud rather than black on the air conditioner. It just helps it soak up less heat, because if your air conditioner is already hot, it makes it harder to cool the air down, And it is crazy how much just the skin color change on that will make a difference. It's also crazy how much cooler your RV will stay in the summer just by having these covers over the fans. Even though they're black, it still makes a huge, huge difference. But this is what I was talking about on the ground. By default, you've got that 1, 2, 3 wiring right there. You can get 1, 2, or 3, or 0, as we're seeing today, 170-watt solar panels straight from Northwood on this. And then if you want to add that 200 off the side, what is that? Total of 710 watts of solar. Like, you can really juice this up. That is far, far more than what you can get from most other brands. Now, again, I've never really, well, other than Northwood, obviously, as the sister company, but generally speaking, in the mainstream market, there's not a lot else really built like this. So I will leave you some links in the description, one, to check pricing and availability, but also, if you're like, that's really nice, but I don't need all that, or, hey, I'm all the way, in Virginia, that's gonna, the $6,000 of shipping it would take to get it from Oregon over here kind of kills the deal for me. Totally get that. I'm gonna leave you the same kind of floor plan from a couple other builders, and if I forget to do that, leave me a note, because sometimes I'll say this on camera, then I forget to do it later, because it doesn't all happen at the same time. Anyway, take care. Stay safe, have fun, and happy camping, everyone.